Cell is one of the most dangerous opponents that the Z Fighters had to face back in earlier versions of Dragon Ball Z. Now, the thing is with Cell is that if we look back, his creation was compiled of 5 warriors: Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, King Code, and Piccolo. Now, if Dr. Gero had waited, let's say Dr. Gero decides to wait to get his revenge instead of releasing, Cell at an earlier point, which the thing is to this is that technically the Cell that we do see is a Cell from a different timeline. This is not the same Cell from the current timeline. So the current Cell who was in the current timeline, he was still a fetus, whatever that you want to call it, embryo, whatever that thing was, and Krillin and Trunks destroyed it at the lab. But if he actually got to sit there and continue to monitor the fighters and get all their DNA and compile things, even up to the point where, let's say, we went up to the point of, depending on the continuity of them going to either super versions of things where you're getting characters like Beerus and Whis, or even Dragon Ball GT where we're seeing people like Baby and of course Super Saiyan 4. Now, what would happen with Cell if he was to be able to collect this type of DNA at this point and get all these different abilities, knowing the instant transmission, learning about probably a Hakai technique from, the God of Destruction, or even if he gets close enough to continue to follow. I don't think he'll be able to get to the point where they go to a place to go see Zeno or the Grand Priest, or even the Tournament of Power. But that was the case, even if he was to compile, Cell's DNA from everyone from the Tournament of Power, if he was able to get over there to the World of Void somehow by having, one of his spy robots get there without it being detected. So the thing is with this is that, just imagine how powerful would Cell be at this point, compiling all these different, type of, DNA. Now the thing is, Cell will still have to absorb people to get stronger, because even though when Cell had these DNAs and stuff like that, and even when he came from the future timeline, he had to regain new power by absorbing pretty much all the humans on Earth. So if he had a chance to absorb all the humans on Earth while everyone's having the Tournament of Power and he's building up at that point, but then again, like I said, he wouldn't have everyone from the Tournament of Power ability. But even if Cell's not that strong and he's slowly, building up his power, and at this point learning about the God techniques, and even if he doesn't build up his powers, if he's able to pretty much learn how to use God Ki by getting Goku's DNA at this point, or even just Beerus' DNA, and learn how to fully use that God of Destruction power, and Cell becomes the God of Destruction level in power, this would be one of the most deadliest threats that they ever seen. And I think with Cell's hacks and his abilities, and just him having the type of fighter that Cell is, it will be a challenge for them to really defeat him, because there really wouldn't be no one to be able to stand up a chance against him, even if he stayed long enough to start compiling DNA from people like Broly as well. So this is the thing, is it's when it comes to Cell and his creation, and what they said perfect, what Cell thought perfect meant was him just collecting Android 18 and 17. But in reality, he learned just how much perfect he was when he self-destructed and became super perfect form, and realizing that it was also a hidden message to saying that, perfect is not just you're being born perfect, but being able to continue to improve and continue to, the world is forever changing and new things are being created. So by Cell being able to adapt and implement those things into himself, this is what makes him one of the most perfect creations in his eyes, when he starts to realize about just his design and stuff, making him perfect in that form, and not just him being in the perfect form that no one can contend with him. Because obviously Goku was a challenge, even though he was stronger than Goku, but then by Gohan being able to defeat him, but then realize he could still come back after blowing himself up. These are all different types of hacks that Cell is starting to realize more and more of, like how perfect his creation was. So just moving forward, like I said, even just if Cell got the DNA of Majin Buu incorporated, what type of Cell would this be? If he got the abilities of Majin Buu and be able to be tangible the same way and implement those things into himself, this would be a total different type of Cell, and even more reliable than what we see in Dragon Ball Daima when it comes to like Majin, Du, and Ku. So get in the comments and tell us, how strong do you think Cell will be if Dr. Gero decided to wait to collect all the DNA and put more information to add on to Cell?